World Culture Score Index has rated Nigeria as one of the countries in the world with lowest reading culture practice. And of course, statistics has shown that 4 in 10 primary school children cannot read to comprehend. And this, of course, is a very big challenge for our education sector. And that is what we bring to fore today on Your Image, Enhancing Reading Culture, the Public Relations Approach. On my show today, we have founder the Sixth Sense Initiative, Mr. Abiodun Lashile. You are welcome to Your Image, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
And I know that you engage so much in reading culture activities.
Everything about me.
Oh, fantastic. So we have brought an authority for you today on this show. And also to join the discussion today is a student of History and Diplomatic Studies from Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agoiwe, Enugu State. Temiloluwa Ayodele, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
And to bring the public relations perspective to the show today, I also have in the studios with me is a regular face and a PR practitioner, a veteran, and of course is a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. Mr. Akin Fuder, welcome to the show once again.
I'm glad to be here.
All right, we'll set the ball rolling. Let's look at the relationship between reading and learning. Are they the same thing? Are they symbiotic? Well, let me throw the question to Mr. Abiodun Lashile. What is the relationship between reading and learning?
Okay. Learning can be as simple as knowing something. An apprentice, an ignorant person from village can get into mechanic village and learn, and at a particular time, whether 1 year, 2 years, he will be able to dismantle the engine of a car. He has learned that skill. You can be in the school. Nobody is born architect or born medical doctor. You understand? But you go to school in 7 years, you learn the trade and become a professional. Do you understand that?
Yes.
So now, reading now is an act in learning. But reading on its own can make you, because reading is personal. Why reading is personal is that I will take a book and I will read. It's about me. Reading improves my own faculty. It is my faculty. It is after my faculty is put to text. That is how you can now enjoy what I read or I am reading. Because so many quotes about reading. Who you are is what you read.
Who you are is what you read.
And when you don't read, a non-reader is an empty person, narrowed, myopic. You understand? If we study the same course, if I am a reader, I will make the best of that course than you. But you may, by grade and scoring in school, you could be 9/10. But if I'm a reader, by the time we step out of the college or university, I will be a better person. Because I will be able to apply now. You are only theoretically good. But I will now be able to apply that learning, that theories. Because, for instance, if I need to know, okay, we were taught that action and reaction are equal and opposite. That's a Newton law.
Okay.
You understand? But if I chose to be a reader, I want to know who is Newton. We were not taught. It's not part of the skill to know who Newton is. But as a reader, I can want to know who Newton is. I cannot know married or married. This. How did he come about that theory? That is the gains you see in a reader. Not knowing the theory to solve problem alone. That is, I've tied it together now. Seeing reading and learning. Going to school, you learn. A reader can read without going to school.
A reader can read without going to school.
Of course, you can read on your, because reading is personal development. So I can read on my own. Like, I can travel. Okay, when I say it, people, it gets so funny with people. I've not traveled, but I cannot fail in issues of international discussion and location of things, because I have traveled while reading.
Okay.
Because you can be seated and travel.
Yes. On the spot?
On the spot, yes. Reading is traveling.
Wow.
I can describe Paris to you, though I've not traveled. I can tell you about the American politics. I've not traveled. I've not lived there. In fact, many times I tell some of our siblings, some of our brothers, that abroad, so thing is going to happen in Colorado. What happened in Massachusetts yesterday was born out of this and this because the whole place is open.
And they begin to look at you without being there physically.
I don't need to be there.
I will come back to you. I'll come back. Temiloluwa. Now, as a student of Eastern Diplomatic Studies, I beg your pardon, your colleagues, or you and your colleagues, you know, because this is the era of internet, I want you to juxtapose between going to the library now and reading on your own, at home, online. Is there any justification to read online? You know, some of you confine yourselves to your room and you read and you live. So what happens in the library? Do your mates, do your colleagues make use of library again?
Thank you very much, sir. You know, how do I put it? Reading to different people, it is different. Reading is very different in different people.
It depends on individual's idiosyncrasy.
Yes, it depends on how you can concentrate. If you are someone that can read in a noisy environment, can read online without getting distracted, online reading is for you. But if you're a kind of person that you get distracted easily, like me, any small thing I get distracted, and any distraction I just stop forever reading.
And the reason why you should visit the library, because of the conducive environment.
Yes, in the library is always silent. It is the best place to read and to read and understand very well. But you know, this time and age, we are mostly used to our phones, to the internet. We are always 24/7 on our phones, always pressing it, reading. We say we are reading, but we are not. We're not reading. Because if you are reading now, you might actually just get a message from one of your friends and be like, oh, yeah, I need to answer this.
And that's a distraction.
Yeah, that's a distraction. That alone is a distraction reason. So it is not advisable to you.
But will you agree with me that reading culture is going into extinction?
Yes, it is. It is going. It is not even going. It has gone into extinction.
Wow.
So like it is up to us as a non-governmental organization and mostly the government to bring reading initiative back
to our schools.
Yes.
Now I will start from where she ended, Mr. Okudeosa. She said the reading culture has gone into extinction. Number one, will you want to agree with her? And secondly, this online reading too, it has overtaken the traditional culture of reading. What is your opinion about this as a PR person? Will you want to agree with our submission?
Well, reading has not gone into extinction.
Oh.
It depends on where you're coming from. If you come from, let me use the word, learned home, you find that you get to read a lot because the library will be there, and then some electronic equipment, computers and whatever. There are also devices for learning. They'll be there. So you get to read a lot through those means and devices. And of course, let me connect us back to the past. It is nowadays we tend to hinge on physical reading. In those days, when things were not documented, you could see that the form where people read and do recitation is based on the folklore, stories told, and tales, and you know, customs, traditional ways of doing things, which were impacted into the minds of our children. So the way they do their recollection is to begin to ask them to tell stories before it developed into ways where things are not being documented. Lastly, I mentioned the issues of symbols and the like. People now have tablets where they inscribe something on. Some have walls where they inscribe something on, where they keep a record of certain things. And then people can go there and say, okay, I am reading so and so, or they are learning so and so. And before it now developed into the hard copy form, the books we are now reading were printed, and then we now have the electronic device that I talked about, which now makes learning more accessible and more meaningful. And beyond that, the electronic devices have also come up with research, or what we call search engines, whereby people can now also easily delve into the past, go theoretical, go academic, and then begin to search and get so many things learned. So these are also part of reading culture. It depends on the environment you have found yourselves. And that is why this climb, because people are not really exposed to those electronic devices, they tend to stay glued to the physical documents or paperwork that we know. So now, we are now found ourselves that with even other new things that are evolving, we talk of artificial intelligence and all the like, you know, there are now new ways of getting things done. And what do? While you are exposed to it, you do some reading. When you do some reading through it, you apply the skill, and then you use your intellect and skill to now develop those things. So there are various forms where reading culture can be enhanced. Don't let us limit ourselves to just physical reading.
Okay. All right, this is Your Image, and we're talking about enhancing reading culture, the public relations approach, and I'm sure you are coming along with us as my guest, unraveling some of the factors responsible for the dearth of reading culture in Nigeria. You can join the conversation through the phone number that will be displayed on your television screen. Make a contribution. And let me now go to Mr. Lashila. One of the cultural icons in Nigeria, Oloye Lekan Alabi, said recently that reading culture is one of the tools of development.
Yes.
So will you agree with him?
Of course, I was there when he said it. I was part of that. Actually, I coined that title. Do you know that it's not again saying that we have problems as a nation? But we are postulating that if we were readers, we may not find ourselves where we are now. If we were readers. Because, for instance, some of the things my other colleague mentioned, I just want to point out one or two things there. He mentioned the development of reading to where we are now. Symbol, visualize.
Okay.
But later came. Later developed and became the 26. The arrangement of it, we now have words. You understand? But reading has not even stopped there. That's where he mentioned technology. Do you know that we write in the air now? You will text me from your phone, there I will get it. From which post office did you get to me?
I'll still throw that question back to him. No, yes, he has something to say on that.
You understand? We write in the air now. So it won't still stop there.
That's abstract writing?
Do you know that light is coming? No, it's not abstract, it's technology. Okay. It can be explained. Okay. It is just writing through punches to optical, which becomes electrical signal. The electrical signal goes into the ear and back from here back to you, and the electrical signal is interpreted and becomes letter again. Very simple. It's not a mystery. No yaje in it. It's just a simple technology. But it will still get to a level that it will be more than that. That's what I'm saying. There is light too, that you just speak and you start writing. If you want to dictate, you want to write a letter, you just talk. In the day of the old, I want to be this, and you start seeing letters. That's voice activated. So now, we are now talking reading now, as to how it increases faculty. And when you are a better person, to yourself first, then you will now be a better person to the society. You will now be put at places to take decisions for yourself, for the people, for government, and it becomes the rule because it's already an embodiment of your person. But that is true reading. Can you see how it's going to help national development now? But where people are no readers, they will get to office, they will sign some things, and behold, litigation will come. They wouldn't know that that was what was signed. Because we are non-readers. Ordinary simple proposal of a page or 2 pages, you send to an agency. You still come and you say, what do you think? It's a good idea. What do you think we can do about it? It is on the last paragraph. Fantastic. What is the committee? How much will it cost now? It's on the following page. We encounter this every time. So the national development, how do we need to start explaining every time to people today that water is not flowing? It can be better if you protect government facilities. It's because we don't read what is called the do it yourself. It cannot thrive with us because of the low level of reading. Ordinarily, it's not sophistication, enlightened environment. You can go into a shop, how to paint your room. Just a pamphlet of about 10 pages. The type of brush, the size, the quantity of ink. But the moment you are not a reader, it can't be useful to you. How do you make cake? You don't need to go to a confectionery place or go to school because we are not reading. Are you seeing the national development now? Can you see what we are missing? And let me shock you. Because we are non-readers, we will want to a simple phone. Do you know that to buy a phone, you know the package, the manual that will be there? You won't read it. You will now come, Job, my son, my daughter, can you help me? That is even a professor. That is even a lecturer. That is, you don't understand. But because we are no readers, and a lot of things are attached to reading, you create time for it. You enjoy it. You want to learn. You must improve yourself. And when we now even talk about what type of reading, what type of reading, you don't need, if I take a book from you, I can just scan it. But I need to know that I can scan it to just get to know about it in 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. I can skim around the lines and be able to know. But if I need exam or interview, I do intensive reading. If I now need to do a study, I can now need to be extensive about my reading, to go for the same topic, go for different 3 or 4, 5 books. You understand? But when we hear reading, it's like you must be in the school. When we hear reading, you must want to take exam. No, it's a personal development. You being able to be useful to yourself, useful to the society, useful to the nation.
All right, thank you very much. Now, Timilola, Timiloluwa, I beg your pardon. A scholar once said that you're as good as the book you read. But now that our youth are not reading again, what do you think happens to the education sector?
The education sector, since as a student, if you don't read, you know you won't pass. Yes, that's it.
But reading goes beyond the shores of that.
Yeah, beyond that. But as a student, you shall know that if you don't read, you won't pass. And you know if you don't pass, well, they pass us very, they just pass.
Wow, I love that. They just pass you.
For example, a student of a secondary school student, yes. Most teachers are just like, let them go.
Let my people go. All right.
That's what they're mostly about. That even if they don't pass, at least I'll just pass they will leave. And that is, and when they now finish, when they leave the school, they won't be able to defend
what they are, the certificate they carry.
So like, it is a huge decline in the education sector, and we need to work on that. We really need to work on that, because a person who gets a certificate for studying, let's say, medicine, now gets to an hospital, gets a job as an hospital, and they're now asking that so thing happens, and just like, I think this should work. That's just
all right. Let's look at the population's implication. Mr. Okudero, she mentioned something that the rot that has done to the education sector. So what is the population's implication of this on our education? When you cannot even defend what you are carrying because you refuse to cultivate the habit of reading when you were in school?
I think there's need to have a change of approach to our learning system. Reading for exam shouldn't be the real thing.
No.
Because if you read for exam, the tendency is there that everything will evaporate after some time. But what you have been able to internalize through reading, constant reading, jottings, keeping some things in memory, practicing some things takes you there. It will be indelible in your memory, and tomorrow, if they ask you, you'll be able to give them back. I still remember those things we learned in literature in those days. I can still quote some quotations for you, verbatim. And you know, it's all about being interested in what you are doing. Whether in a book form, whether in any form at all, what you need is to ensure that you develop interest. You want to have a deep insight into what they are talking about. What do you intend to gain? And how do you intend to also impact that knowledge that you have gained into other people? If you have that mindset, then reading becomes more pleasurable. It becomes valuable, and it becomes a veritable tool for development.
All right, if reading culture is indeed a tool for national development, then we can continue the conversation next week, God willing, when my guest will also be in the studios with me to talk about the enhancing reading culture public relations approach. I want to thank Mr. Abiodun Lashile, founder of the Sixth Sense Initiative. Thank you very much for being part of the show. Don't forget that you will join us next week for the presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I thank Emilio Lua, your daily student of History and Diplomatic Studies or Labis at the Banjo University. I go you. Thank you so much for being part of this. So you join me next week on this. I'm Mr. Aki Okudero. Thank you so much. He's a PR veteran and a fellow of NIPR. Thank you so much for being part of our discussion.
It's a call to duty.
Thank you very much. Until we meet next week, God willing, let's collectively cultivate the idea of reading so that there will be development in our nation. See you next week.